Blue Fountain Media is a digital agency. We started off as a web design company. Today we do everything from strategy to information architecture to high-end design and effective online marketing. I grew the company by 40% over the next 10 years, and today it does over $20 million. I did this without borrowing any money. I did it without any VC backing. I was offered VC backing every day of my life, ever since I did over $10 million. Okay, I did it without borrowing money, no loans, no nothing. I'm going to tell you how I did it. Because what I did for myself is what I do for my clients. I have seen my clients' businesses grow from being a small operation to being multi-channel and very successful. Online marketing works if you do it right and you invest in it. If you want to have a successful online business, whether you are a Fortune 500 or just a startup, there are three things you need to do. The first thing is you need to drive qualified traffic. Most companies drive traffic, but most of their traffic is not qualified. You need to drive qualified traffic. Then you need to convert that traffic into a lead or a sale. And then you need to bring that traffic back and create what's called brand loyalty. A lot of companies, they have what's called a loss leader. That means they spend a lot of money to get a customer, and they will lose money on that customer. What they're banking on is that the customer becomes a repeat customer. Like when a new perfume line launches. The first time you buy that perfume, they lost money on you buying it because they spend so much money advertising it. Their hopes are you become a repeat customer. Brand loyalty is everything. Anyone here that runs a business, if anyone's interested in your business, the first question they ask you is, how much money do you generate? Then they ask you, how many repeat customers do you have, right? When you want to evaluate Facebook and Twitter, it's not about how many users they have, it's about how many active monthly repeat. You want to build an app? I get guys that come to my office all day long. I have an idea for an app. That's great. I'm going to charge per download. Forget it. Your idea is no good. You need to charge for repeat customers. Let's talk about the first one, driving qualified traffic. And let's focus on online marketing. Look, there's SEO, PPC, social media, mobile advertising, native advertising. There is so much you could do online. That's just a small list. Okay? Those are the various forms of digital marketing that you could do to drive qualified traffic. But let's jump to a more important place. That's your website. Your website needs 4 essential elements to convert that traffic to a lead or a sale. I have guys that come to my office and they say, we have a website, we want to spend $10,000 a month on marketing, and we tell them, save your money. Let us show you why. Sonny Anderson has a TV talk show on the Food Channel, I believe. Look at the before on the left. On the right. Actually, it's your left. What does that tell you about her? Are you going to go back to that website? Is there any value in that website for you? Then look at the one on the right side. First of all, it's got a different kind of messaging. Her messaging no longer is her name. I mean, obviously you are on her website, so you know who she is. She doesn't need to advertise her name. And I'm using a celebrity on purpose. The main messaging is the ingredient, the dish of the day. She's going to bring you back with stickiness. She's going to bring you back saying, hey, we have a new dish every day. That's why you're going to go back. Why would you go back to the one on the left? And she incorporates social media. In this case, YouTube videos. Let's take a different example. A doctor's site. Look at the image on the left. Who's going to read that? I mean, who's going to sit there and read all that text? People have ADD when they go on Google. They love to use that back button. Look at the one on the right. It's got a simple message. It's got images of doctors, not just stock photography. And it's got more value. In fact, the whole site itself has much better information than we see up there. What it has is a main message that's not long. Don't put a paragraph on your homepage. It also has calls to action. Contact us, request a quote. Something that engages the audience. Then it has stickiness factors. You're all experts in what you do. Your stickiness factor is the content that you could share with your audience. Our blog gets over 20,000 visitors a month. We don't even market it. It gets it because we put out quality content on digital marketing. Then let's talk about loyalty, going back to that content. You create brand loyalty by engaging customers and prospects with quality content. Engaging content, like email marketing or through social media activity. We're going to go into these a bit more. I just want to give you a high level. We're going to go into them by discussing the 5 trends. The first one is responsive design. I want to tell you guys one thing. If you do not have a mobile presence, do not do marketing. 50% of traffic comes through from your mobile search. And by the way, clients, customers, they don't make their decision on one device. They don't go on a desktop and make their decision on a desktop. They start their search while they're waiting for the elevator, they're waiting for the train on a mobile phone. They'll then go to the office and look at the desktop, and at nighttime they'll use a tablet. Google did a study and found out that most customers will go at least on 3 devices in the period of 2 days before making a purchase or making a decision. Our website is a lead generator. We're not selling anything. We're in the services business. We spend $20,000 a month on pay-per-click. Do you know how many of those people convert the first time they come to our site? 1 out of 300. 1 out of 300 people that click will convert right there on the spot. Most will come to our site 4 to 5 times before they convert. You don't just go to a site and buy something. That's rare. 2% do that. The other 98% are doing research. I'm jumping ahead of myself here a little bit. We're going to talk about responsive design, content marketing, visual assets, a big one. Anyone doing stuff on Facebook? That's something to pay attention to. Mobile advertising and remarketing. Let's look at some stats. It's no surprise. Everybody has a smartphone. Anyone that's a buyer, anyone that's got a wallet and is going to be buying something by now has some kind of smartphone that they could browse, buy, stuff like that. Fandango is selling as many tickets on mobile as it is on desktop. Restaurants get more reservations on mobile than they do on a desktop. The doctor site that we built got more reservations on their mobile than they do on their desktop. In other words, mobile is not tomorrow. The number 2 mistake I get when someone walks into my company is, I want to do marketing, and they have no mobile presence. You're wasting your marketing dollars. I got these stats from Google. 57% of people will not recommend a business with a bad mobile site. 40% have turned to a competitor's site. We got clients because some of our competitors had bad mobile sites. And 23% curse at their phones when they get a bad mobile experience. This shows a multi-path purchase. This shows that 65% of people start on a mobile device when looking to make a purchase. If you have an e-commerce store, more than half of the people that are your prospects will start on a mobile phone, including me, by the way. I think all my research, I wait for that elevator, it drives me nuts. I wait for it 5 times a day. That's where I do all my research. 25% start on a desktop, and the rest on a tablet. This is an example of a mobile design. A responsive design. The image you see on your right side is what it looks like on a desktop. When you're on your tablet, it will resize itself to fit your tablet. And when you're on your mobile, it'll refit to fit the mobile. That's called responsive. Some people refer to it as fluid design. There's another example of Starbucks. On the left side, you see how it looks like on a desktop. Moving towards mobile, you can see how it resizes itself. That is better for SEO. If you have a separate mobile site, if you got .mobile or your domain name, and you have a desktop version, you got to do double the effort of SEO to get your site to the top. Content marketing, the creation, sharing, and promotion of quality content. Not nonsense content. There's a lot of nonsense out there. They bring no value. Here are some different examples of what content marketing is. anytime you guys do a video, by the way, I gotta tell you, I mean, a lot of company owners, they could pitch their services or their products beautifully. You look at their website, you're like, I don't see that on your website. You don't need to do a Hollywood shoot here. A simple video will do the job for you. You can put it on YouTube. That gets you a nice quality inbound link. That's going to help your SEO. Another great thing that we find are infographics. Those are those pretty, you see examples and charts of pies with numbers of, focus. We have some on our website. Infographics are great. Press releases are great. White papers. The more content you get out there, it gets your brand out there. But what happens is it brings back quality inbound links to your site. And if you want to rank on page 1 of Google, you need to optimize your website. Then you need to get quality inbound links. Take out your phones, Google website design. You get back 2 billion results. We're #1 in the world because we put out quality content out there. We generate over 1,000 leads a month. 90% are not fitted or qualified to work with us. Just like you put an ad in Times Square and everybody could work with you. But it works. Visual assets. So, you go on Facebook and you post something on Facebook on your business account. It's text. You don't get that many likes. You post something with a visual aid, you will get 5 to 10 times more likes. So we have a company that does entertainment, BioWars. When they post a picture of, our designers, our artists are now working on a sketch of this character, they get 5 to 10 likes. When they post a sketch of the character, they get close to 200 likes. Visual, invest in it. Design, people don't like to read. No one likes a DMV form, and no one likes to do homework. No one wants to read long paragraphs. We have short attention spans. We like pretty things. We like to look at design. Why is Apple successful? Because of its design. Invest in design. When you post something, make sure it's relevant to your users. An example on the left to right. GE, Instagram, look at those images. Not very exciting. I don't think anyone here is going to jump and say, I got to go on GE. Look at the right side. LL Bean, 5 million people. They talk to their audience's lifestyle. When you put things out, make sure it's relevant to your core audience. Again, you see on the right, Zappos investing in videos. By the way, Zappos is a great example of a company that achieves success through SEO, strong messaging, and strong value. No advertising. Mobile advertising. This is amazing. 89% of smartphone users notice mobile apps. Do you know how many users notice desktop ads? Anybody? Less than 15%. Study done by Cornell. I'm not saying you shouldn't advertise if you have the money for it, but less than 15% of people on a desktop ad will notice or even care about an ad, like a banner ad on a desktop. But on a mobile phone, we notice it. It's new. There are ways you could advertise on a mobile phone. And right now is the time to get into it because in a few years from now, it's going to get much more expensive. Just like PPC was a great time to get into it a few years ago. Remarketing. There is search remarketing, email remarketing, and display remarketing. Let's touch briefly in each one. Search retargeting. Today when you advertise, you don't advertise to everybody. I mean, you could go on CNN if you're Merrill Lynch and you have a new investment program and say, I'm going to, pound my chest and show my Merrill Lynch brand to everybody. And that's good for you if you're Merrill Lynch. But most of us here don't have a multi-billion-dollar marketing budget. And most of us don't want everybody as a client. You are able to today show your banners to people in a demographic at a certain time. And as an example, let's say I'm a jewelry dealer. I could show my banner today to a household married couple that only lives in Long Island that generates $200,000 family income. And make sure only they see my banner. Most people are not aware you could do such targeted advertising today. Email remarketing. You ever go to Amazon, decide not to buy something, and then it starts following you around? You guys know what I'm talking about? That's not hard to do. If you're an e-commerce store, you should definitely do that. Display remarketing. Display remarketing is someone comes to your website and they leave. They go to our website, leave our website. Then you go to Fandango, next thing you know, our banner is there. But it will only show up a few times at certain intervals. Because if we do it too much, you're going to get annoyed with us. But we'll follow you maybe every 3 days for a week, and then we'll stop. You can do that through Google as well. These are different technologies out there. So people don't make 98% of people will not make their decision the first time they go to your site. And it's important to do display remarketing. Let's talk about common mistakes that we see in the marketplace. I talked about this already. If you don't have a mobile site, don't do any kind of marketing because it's a lot of money lost. People spend money to market a poorly optimized website. I don't mean just SEO, I mean conversion rates. I mean you don't have a good messaging, you have no calls to action. That hurts businesses a lot. Running a badly managed SEM campaign. And if you're dealing with a salesperson that's also managing your PPC campaign, chances are you're not getting the best buck for your dollar. I mean, best results for your dollar. PPC, did you know that PPC campaigns, how many of you think here the more you pay, the higher you go up on Google? That is false. That's not true. Not necessarily true, at least. What if the content on your landing page matches the content on your PPC campaign, you will pay much less per click. In fact, you will find that certain times of the day is much less. In fact, you'll find that sometimes longer keywords will perform better in conversions and they're cheaper. Most companies we've dealt with, from anyone from a Fortune 500 to a startup, we found big mistakes in the PPC campaign. Our average rate of savings for a client is over 40%. That means of every $10,000, we've saved them $4,000 to get them better results. Don't try to be everything to everybody. I love when someone has a new business idea and they're very excited. They're going to launch this new thing, whether it's an e-commerce store or whether it's the next startup app, and they go, I want everybody. It's like, well, either you got a lot of money or we need to really focus you on a niche market. Look, if you're selling t-shirts, if you're an e-commerce store, if you're a doctor, or if you are a business, a consulting company, find out who's your demographic. The more pinpoint your demographic is, the more effective your marketing, the lower your cost of acquisition. The last one on there is only planning a budget for phase one. A lot of people come, they have I have X amount to spend on my website. They don't understand that a website, you don't just build it and let it sit. It's not a print collateral. It's not a booth. A website is a living, breathing marketing material. It is constantly changing and updating. You don't invest $5,000 and you don't invest $500,000 and let it sit. You update it. You update its features. Look at Facebook. How often do they update it? Constantly. Look at Amazon. How often do they update that? Constantly. Now let me tell you a secret. I don't have the money for it. You know what I did in BFM to grow it to $20 million? I kept investing in it. I invested and I believed in marketing and I kept doing it and it works. But you're not going to get awesome results if you don't put money behind your marketing. And your website is your strongest marketing collateral. When I say website, I do mean a responsive site. The biggest mistake I see clients making is they don't track lost opportunities. If you own a store owners, a store owner knows how many people come to their store. They know what products sell on what shelf. They know everything that goes on in their store. But they go, I don't need a better website. I'm doing fine. Or what? They're not tracking how people come and leave their website. They're not tracking their bounce rates. They're not tracking how they're doing against their competitors. There are so many free websites out there that will tell you how's your competitor doing. How many keywords on page 1 of Google do they rank for? How much traffic they get? Even some will tell you how many conversions they get. And my favorite thing is when I sit down there with the guy who doesn't think he needs this because he's not tracking it, and then he sees how his competitors are doing. And it's like, whoa. Don't just track how many sales you're doing and stuff like that. Track the bounce rates. People coming on your site and leaving without doing anything. Just like you had a store. Who wants a store that 99 out of 100 people that walk in, walk out and don't buy anything? Do you know most websites have a 99.9% like crazy? People walk in, walk out, don't do anything. They'll never return to it. They'll never recommend it. They'll never share it. Nothing. That's most apps and social media as well. If you're going to hire a website guy, a marketing guy, a digital agency, ask them 3 questions before you hire them. Because it's a wild west out there, right? You go out, one guy tells you 500, the next company is telling you 50,000. First of all, if you don't give anybody your money, go see their operation. You know what small business owners tell us? You come to me. Like, what? You should come, you know, all the big companies we work with, NFL, HarperCollins, Procter & Gamble, that they're not in New York, they come see us. They come look at our people. They come see our operation. They're not going to give us $1 of their money without looking who they're giving it to. You don't say, come to me. You're giving your money and you're trusting your business to them. You go look at them. Go look at the operation and setup. Go see who's there. There's a big joke amongst the agencies of how small businesses get burned all the time because they give the money to some no-name guy who has no operation and claims to have 50 people. 2, show me your results. Don't tell me you're going to do SEO. Show me the clients you've done SEO for. Show me the page 1 keywords you got them. Right? Just like you're going to hire someone, you want to show me the results. That's how we hire our people. And do you practice for yourself what you preach to your clients? So if I'm telling you do content marketing, do you do content marketing? What do you do? If they do it for themselves, chances are they probably know what they're doing. A lot of companies just preach it, but they don't do it for themselves. Look, there's a big company out there that sells PPC, and they have their own platform, but when they do PPC for themselves, they don't use their own platform. It's a big, reputable company. Right? So always, when you give your money to someone, go see the operation, go see where they're set up, go meet their people, see them face to face, and ask them, show me your results, live. Go on Google and see what they bought to other clients. That's a lot of stuff. Anybody wants it, we'll put it on our website so you can download it. Do you have any questions? Sorry.
Oh, hold on. Hand up. Okay.
You mentioned the different places where you can be online. I mentioned press releases, social. What are for some of the people who don't do a lot of their own, who need to do their marketing better? What are the first 2 or 3 steps they need to take to really kickstart this, other than recognizing that they have a problem?
So, in other words, if you're starting out, what do you want to do is most essential? That's a great question. Like, where do I start? Do I start with PPC? Do I start with PR? Do I start with social media? Should I even do social media? Where do I start? Look, when I was starting out, I knew one thing. If I didn't sell, I didn't pay the rent next month, right? So I needed to sell. I needed to perform. And when you're small and you're starting out, performance is what counts. It depends on your business. PPC is usually what we recommend to most smaller companies that are starting out, because SEO is going to take a few months to get results from SEO. It's not instantaneous. With PPC, you could be up and running. But a lot of the stuff that was up there, you can't do on your own. I'll go back to the video. Doing a video of yourself talking about your product, being an expert, recording yourself, putting yourself on YouTube, starting a YouTube channel, it doesn't cost anything, and it really brings you a lot of value. Video is the future of content sharing. You know, and a lot of times you can explain what you do in 30 seconds and it's clear versus someone reading a whole page.
Just a quick follow-up on video. How far behind is a company today? How far behind is a company today that isn't using video? How many years behind?
It's like saying how far is behind a company today that doesn't have a website. It's about lost opportunities.
So I want to just jump in real quick, and you talked about SEO not happening overnight, and so I like that one because being someone who does consulting for a few agencies myself, I just want to lay out for them. what do you see as a time period? What is a reasonable time period, right? So you said that don't show up with $5,000 or $500,000 to build a website and walk away. You said SEO doesn't happen overnight. So when someone starts thinking about how they're going to grow their brand or their business, what is a good time period interval that they should look for before they turn away and say, okay, it's not working? Because one of the kind of catch-22s of small business is the small business will pump money into someone because they're saying, oh, but it takes time for it to happen. It takes time to happen. So where's the balance between how long you think a campaign needs in order to start to mature and see results versus it's time to walk away?
For small business owners, patience is a virtue, right? So, first of all, let's talk about the SEO process. First, you need to target the keywords you're going to go after. And that, you have to be very careful. So if you are a sports store, you don't want to go after the term shoes. I find that people doing like, I want to go up for shoes. No, I mean, first of all, it's a very low conversion rate. Second of all, it's not long enough. It's not a long-tail keyword that's going to convert. Long-tail keywords convert better because those people know what they're looking for. Shoes, the guy's going to go back to Google and change his
shoes. Yeah, what's a long-tail keyword?
So, now, men's shoes is better than shoes. At least now I know men's shoes. If I'm looking for men's tennis shoes or comfortable men's tennis shoes, that's a more long-tail keyword. Okay, so before you start your SEO, the first thing you need to know is what are the keywords we're going after? And that's where a good consulting or digital agency comes into place because they'll help you identify that. Then you need to do what's called on-site optimization. On-site optimization is when you go on the site and you optimize it, you update your content, your interlinking, your title tags, all that great stuff. Then comes the most important part. Do you know what that is? Anybody? The most important part of SEO.
Is that dancing?
Not dancing, but dancing.
Testing back here, we have his name, so testing.
What about the content? You're on the right track. It's inbound linking. You want to know why SEO takes time? Because you need quality inbound linking, and that comes from quality content. Do you want to know why we rank so high? Because I have a column in the New York Times and Forbes, thanks to Lynn sitting over there, but I get inbound links from the top media, from schools, all these things. We share content, and we get very high quality content. So, going back to what Basil was talking about, how long should it take? Well, you're going to do research, and research doesn't happen in an hour. You got to give the guy some time to do quality research. Then you got to do on-site optimization. Then you got to get quality inbound links. You cannot outsource that to India. You can't outsource that. Really, that's got to be done right here in the U.S. It's not development. It's not design. This is someone that understands the U.S. culture and business place. Then you need to get high-quality content, links, and if you get them from the government source, that's the biggest points Google will give you, because those are tough to get. Then comes schools, universities. Then comes the media. Then comes what we call influencers in your space. So let's say you have that men's tennis shoes, and you want to go after comfortable men's tennis shoes, that long-tail keyword. Well, you need to make sure that your website has a landing page for that, or mentions that in header 1 text, in the title tag. Then you got to make sure your website or that landing page has an inbound link. Now, if you can get an inbound link from tennis.com, that's awesome. But if you get it from a used car dealership, that's not good. Google's like, these keywords, these sites are not matching. 0 points for you. If you get it from what used to be called directory farms, they're useless. They don't work anymore. Google's job is to make sure they give the user, the viewer, the best possible results. And they're like, well, how are we going to do this? Well, we need to make sure that what the user is searching for appears on that web page. Okay, so if all web pages have it, then what? Well, whoever gets the best quality inbound links, those take time. What's the minimum amount of time? 3 months. What's reasonable amount of time? 6 to 9 months. We don't work with anybody under a year budget. We get great results, but we need time to get them.